Yo, it's your man, True Master, legendary Wu-Tang producer, and I want to shout out J-Ronin All Elements Podcast. Make sure you check this out, man. You know what I mean? That's my man. You don't check it out, we got problems.
Ladies and gentlemen, what up, what up? Welcome, y'all, to the J-Ronin Podcast and the All Elements Mix Show, powered by Black League Entertainment on Delicious Vinyl Radio, on the Dash Radio app. And tonight, we have a very special guest, a legendary producer, dope MC, hip-hop aficionado, a scholar.
Thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind.
No. Every time I build with you, I always learn something. You know.
Thank you, fam. You know? I like to share information with my brothers.
Oh,
you know.
Thank you, man. But yo, give it up one time for True Master, y'all. Oof. And yeah, discography is crazy. Yeah.
Well, you know, I appreciate that. You know, I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of great MCs, and my music has also been used by a lot of the top producers. Timbaland, Jermaine Dupri, you know, so it's a good thing, you know, to be appreciated by your peers and other producers in the industry that recognize you for your work.
And of course, people know you for your work with Wu-Tang and the Wu-Tang affiliates, but you worked with Guru, Jazzmatazz. Yeah, I didn't even know about that. I knew you were on the Oz soundtrack. You know, and I know you did a whole album on KRS-One. Yeah,
that was a pleasure, man. I always was a big fan of KRS-One, and you know, so that was like something I always wanted to do. You know, I still would like to do an album with the greats, like any of the greats, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim,
right.
Even some of the old
album, we need one bad.
Yeah, even the older legends like Grandmaster Caz. You know, I love the work with Caz. You know,
yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah,
but you know, you just did another project with Killer Priest recently.
Divine Intervention.
So much for him. Right. You know, you stay busy. You stay busy. Always working, making it happen. You know what? Let's take it back to your early days. And I know you Brooklyn born and raised?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know you grew up in East New York.
Grew up in East New York.
Right.
With a lot of the greats, you know, grew up in the same area with me, many right on the same block and like within the same few block radius. And you know, growing up, we all were, you know, in love with hip hop. I mean, it is still in its early stages, and you know, we would listen to the Cold Crush tapes, and then of course Grandmaster Flash and them, and you know, those artists really inspired us, at least on the East Coast, and also on the West Coast. They pay homage to a lot of the greats that come out the East Coast as well, which is good, and it's good to see a lot of the older brothers get their flowers. I enjoy that too. You know, I've known you for a while, man.
Yeah,
you know,
you knew me when I was a little bit slimmer. Yeah, I don't remember the first day we met. We definitely met probably 04, 05, around that time.
Yeah,
I remember, you know, you coming to my old crib in Spanish Harlem, building then, and
you coming to my crib too.
Yep.
Coming to my Brownstone.
Yeah,
in Harlem.
Brownstone. Yep. And I think I was trying to get a mixtape award, Justos, and you helped link me with some of the people over there. I think his name was Titanic Brother.
Yeah.
Right. You had him come by, and you know, and we went to a couple of really good events. I remember going to that Nas event of you and Priest. Just they had all, you know, me being a fat boy, they had all the sushi and every top shelf liquor you wanted, and I was in heaven. All the food and liquor you wanted.
You're crazy, Ronin. You're
You
crazy,
know?
but I always liked you, man. You know.
I tried to hit on Alicia Keys that day. It did not work. I remember I was trying to hit on her, and Preach was trying to talk to her, and then
Yeah.
got into it with Mario. Mario's like, "Oh yeah, you from the hood?" He's like, "What?" Yeah, had him in a headlock, rapping in his ear. That was so. And Mario looked like he was scared to death. It was so funny.
You know, and even though Alicia Keys used Brooklyn Zoo, that was really the first time I met her that night.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It for her first album, right?
Yeah. Then I went to her birthday party, and
Right.
I met a lot of people there too. But yeah, man, it's great when people reuse your music as well. And she used Brooklyn Zoo for her first single, Girlfriend. You know, that's what they was using to break her on the radio. And of course, you know, since Brooklyn Zoo was a street anthem, the streets embraced it, R&B embraced it, and her album went on to sell at least. At first, it was at 8 million. Then you know the labels, they always say it was returns and this and that.
Right.
So I think it's at 8 million now, and 5 Grammys for that album.
That's probably just in America.
Yeah.
So the worldwide, I'm sure it did a few million.
Oh yeah, worldwide it's crazy.
So, wow. So that check for you was probably crazy. Now, not to be all up in your business, but.
Well, you know, yeah, we ain't gonna go into too much of that.
That was nice. I was like, oh. So he's like, how you think I got the Brownstone? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, the Brownstone, I always was a hustler, and I used to hustle in Harlem.
Right.
And I was always in love with the Brownstones in Brooklyn and in Harlem. Yeah. And I had a girlfriend back in the days. I helped her restore her brownstone. So that got me into restoration. I actually talked her into restoring. She wanted to renovate. I was like, nah, we should strip the wood down, get the paint off of there, and really just restore this place.
Right.
Because brownstones are historic homes. Even in areas where they haven't been designated as historic districts yet. Right. It's inevitable.
Yeah, I was born and raised in a brownstone. My family got really lucky. They got a brownstone in 1971 from some old lady who was trying to move out of Flatbush in the Lefferts Manor, Prospect Lefferts Gardens area. And she was like, you know, what do you got? Okay, yeah, get a mortgage. All right. Ended up getting a brownstone back then for $20,000.
Wow.
You know what? Edit that out. No, and that's all right.
But you know,
I edited it out, but that's crazy.
I don't like to tell people how much I paid for my joint because
I know, right?
That'll make them mad too. They'd be like, how the fuck you get it? You know, but I was ahead of the curve because I was up there when Harlem was like looking crazy, looking like a war zone. Most blocks had more abandoned buildings than occupied buildings, including the block that I bought when I brought it, it was more abandoned buildings than occupied buildings. But I knew I had got a heads up that they were going to declare that area a historic district and that the prices were going to go to the roof real soon. So I was kind of like, it was an inside tip. And so I bought it. When I bought it, the block was like most blocks in Harlem. Most of the buildings were burnt down and abandoned. So I got it real cheap. And I bought some other stuff up there too, man. I made a lot of money in real estate on a low.
Nice.
You know, yeah.
I kind of always use you as an example too, with other producers and people who've been in the game a long time. And say, look at you, Master. He's making real estate investments. He's moving smart. Like some of you guys are still in apartments and got 20 kids and
you know,
like, what are you doing? You know,
I'm gonna give you a jewel. I was inspired to buy a brownstone early from my mom because she had me and my sister. I'm the oldest. She had me when she was 19. She had my sister when she was 20. And you know, as a single mother, I mean, she had us by the same man, but she was still a single mother. And she, by the time she was 26, or right before the year she was about to turn 26, she was 25, about to turn 26. and she bought her home that we grew up in. So because she was such a hardworking woman and bought a house at 25 with 2 kids, I always admired her hustle.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even got no kids. So as soon as I get me a nice amount of money, I want to buy a house while I'm young, because I saw how much that benefited her and how much, it benefited everyone, her children and, my grandmother and everybody. So, I was like, you know what? It don't make no sense if I'm getting all this money. So I bought my brownstone when I was 26, about to turn 27.
Right.
Wait a minute. No, 20, I'm sorry. I was 27, about to turn 28. So it was 2 years later than my mother. I didn't have no kids. And I was like, it don't make no sense. I got to buy me a piece of property.
And you had tenants in different places, I believe, right?
Pardon me?
You had different tenants in different locations. I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it,
Yeah.
You have the tenants pay off the mortgage if you need to, and then you build wealth. You build generational wealth. That way you have something for your kids and future generations,
Absolutely. I mean, that's the disparity now. The most major disparity is with wealth, and wealth is primarily built through real estate for most of the people in this country, most of the white people. So when we don't have generational wealth to pass down something like a piece of property to our kids, it keeps them on the same treadmill with no advantages. You know what I mean? So,
By the way, I have a crazy story for you. Somewhere around your area, a nurse, a friend of mine, told me the story. A doctor bought a house in the 120s, around where your brownstone was. And he knocked down a wall to open up the room or something. And he found he found 3 keys of coke.
Wow.
And he's a
what do you do with
him? I would get to that. That's the part that makes me mad. So he asked my nurse friend, "Oh, what should I do? It's three keys. I don't know how long it's been in there. Could have been, from 88, 92, who knows, right?" And she said, "Oh, you don't want to lose your license to practice as a doctor. You better get rid of that." Right. So he threw him away.
Threw him away?
Threw him away. He's a doctor. He's a millionaire. He doesn't care.
He don't care, but
looking at that, mind you, I don't sell cocaine, okay, but that's $90,000 easy. And I was like,
easy.
Like, come on.
Actually, probably a lot more than that. That's probably the market value of before you do your little dance.
Right, I'm talking wholesale.
Yeah.
And then they do what they do.
90. Yeah, quick 90.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many of those abandoned buildings.
If you can avoid dealing with them kind of things, yeah, I understand. But we from the street, so we would have knew how to get rid of them shits quick.
Right. That blew my mind. I was like, he threw him away. Oh, I'm gonna go to his house. I'm gonna go do his garbage. He's like, no. So I'm like, Kids don't sell drugs. Okay, I'm just saying, but
no doubt.
That's free money. Oh my God. So I wonder, so many of these buildings, people just stash stuff in them that were abandoned, crazy.
I found in my brownstone, when I was restoring it, I found an old pistol. Yeah, I found an old, like an old, classic pistol.
Like a 1920s, 30s?
It was real old. It was rusted, you know what I mean? So you had to clean it up, but it was, it was a nice little joint. Like
okay.
Little joint. 6-shooter.
All right. That's dope.
Yeah.
But yo, let's go back into, you fell in love with hip hop as a kid in East New York.
Yes, sir.
How did you fall in love with production?
My mom's, she used to have parties, house parties back in the days, and they used to have live bands in the backyard. So, you know,
Is it like soul, funk, or
all that, man. The bands be getting down, and you be like, you know, they tell you you supposed to be asleep, and then you sneak downstairs, and eventually the older folks is like, you know, they playing with you. So then she said, all right, he could stay. Then, you know, you end up, you know, watching the band, and when they take their break, they showing you the instruments and all kind of, it was just amazing. Growing up those were some good memories, man. And I felt like music was something I knew I wanted to do, and I knew I would do it, you know. So then they had back in the days, they used to have music programs in the public schools.
Right.
So we would learn how to use instruments. I played the clarinet, I played the saxophone.
I played clarinet and guitar.
Yeah. And then they cut those music programs.
They cut everything out.
Then it wasn't nothing to do but bang on the tables.
Right.
So we had to express ourselves in some way or another. And I guess when they said, okay, we don't want a whole nother generation of jazz musicians and people who, you know, so maybe they was, you know, not trying to do it deliberately, but regardless, when they cut the music programs, we still had to find a way of expressing ourselves. And in the hood, the most basic form of music was birthed, and that's hip hop, where, you know, just a basic boom bap and somebody rhyming is the fundamental elements of hip hop. So, you know,
you can't afford a drum machine, somebody could beatbox.
We used to beatbox, right? Right. And all of those basic elements, like I said, we still had a need to express ourselves. And that's why a lot of producers in hip hop are not, you know, formally trained musicians. They they're playing by ear, they're playing by feeling. We defy a lot of the traditional structures of music when we're creating music in hip hop, and we do a lot of you know, things that just go on what we feel, and you know, I think that's part of the magic of it. You know, I met some musicians. I'm good friends with some musicians who are real skilled musicians, and they say, you know what? Because you're not fully trained, you know, musically. I know the scales and how to play things like that, minor, major chords, etc. But because I'm not locked into really a formal music training, they tell me like you're freer than it seems like your sound. You know, you do things that we're like, oh man, and you know, I would have never thought of that, or, you know. And you make things work that they would not have thought would have worked. You know, sometimes it's the simplicity of it.
Right. I mean, I'll say this. I don't want to say any names, but there are certain hip hop producers who make really great stuff, and then they studied music and musicianship, and it kind of, their imagination, it kind of you know narrowed it down. I feel like the production after that wasn't the same. It was trying to be a musician now and not making dope hip hop beats. And
it can because you know, hip hop is it's a free expression, and it's an expression from, like I said, from the grassroots of our urban communities, which were, you know, low income communities. They cut all the music programs, and even the expression of the characters of hip hop, the different personalities and the way they express themselves is just like, you know, just a freeness. And sometimes when you get all that shit in, then next thing you know, you're all restricted, and you're
have a little swing in it. You know, people are all quantizing their drums. It's like, come on now. Like, it's too, you know, too stiff. And that's when it starts getting whack. And you gotta, you know.
I deliberately make my shit, you know, off but on.
Right.
You know, it's different ways I do it. And I try to create a more of a, you know, a human feel to the metronome.
That's the swing. That's a little thing called the swing. Like if I'm working with him, sometimes he'll make me move the vocals over a little bit, just slightly, or move the kick over a little bit or the snare, and like, nah, it's too on beat. I don't like that. So he really showed me that, and you hear that a lot in your production, the having that swing, and RZA and
Right.
Dilla as well. Those are good examples, Right.
Indeed. RZA's early production was amazing. And there's a lot of producers out there, man. Havoc, of course, Marley Marl. To me, Marley Marl is like
that's the blueprint.
That's the godfather of this shit.
Right.
Man.
Enough credit, Howie T. I'm from Howie T. So I gotta talk about Howie T. And Said G from the Bronx, Ultramagnetic.
Said G. There was another brother named Tony. I think Tony T or Tony. He was out in I used to go out there with my man, and all the brothers you mentioned used to be out there too, at Tony's studio. It was in Coney Island.
Okay.
Tony T. He used to produce for the Bad Boys. They made the Veronica, Veronica girl. Remember that?
He's a bad.
That might be you might be a little young.
Yeah, I know.
The Gadget. Remember they used.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I tell you, honey, what are you gonna do? The lady, and the
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, boys are really bad. So,
yeah. Some of those dudes used to be in my class in public school. Busy B. Matter of fact, me and Busy B from the Bad Boys was all in the same class with Gemini, the gifted one. Now, it's a small world.
Right.
Believe it or not, we were all in a program for like intellectually gifted children. You know what I'm saying? And we all got skipped from the 7th grade to the 9th grade.
Wow. There you go.
Gemini and Busy B from that. They was in my class. We all got skipped.
I'm thinking of this video. They kept flipping around, rapping, and like. They were definitely repping East New York too. I remember in the song.
No doubt. East New York. I love East New York. You know what I mean? I got a lot of amazing memories, and coming up with all these different brothers, and seeing them also get a chance to express themselves musically.
So many artists came out of there. You got Amateur, Afro Ra.
Afro Ra right across the street from me.
Master Killer, of course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Uncle Murder, AG the Corner, the other people later on.
New York was filled with talent. When you think about the different projects like Queensbridge, look how much talent is there.
Right.
You think about even like a Staten Island, Stapleton, and Park Hill. That's a lot of talent coming out of that small area. So, and I remember going out there, walking around, and just walking up to brothers. Yo, God, you got one for me? Spit a verse, I spit a verse, and that kind of thing, man. Those was the good old days.
Were you MCing before production?
I started MCing. I would say I started MCing first, and back then, it wasn't like a lot of producers. So I think most MCs was trying to create their own sound, or with pause tapes, and then my cousin had I think it's called the SK4 Casio, if I'm not mistaken. Real small keyboard like this, little ass shit, little teeny keys, and 4 little sample pads. Each sample pad, I think, had 1 second or 1.5 second and a half at most.
Wow.
And I made some amazing. That's where I started first getting that low chop style, because I only had 1 second on each pad. And that would make you like listen for the hits.
Right. The
You know what I mean?
stash.
So now you like,
Right.
and you're trying to get a little bar out of that 4 little patterns.
Right.
And then, you know, rock it out like that. So then when I started going to the studio, and Guru had told me about the studio downtown. When I started going there, I would have the ideas because I would be experimenting with the Casio SK4 first.
Right.
And then when I go in the studio, I already got knowing what I'm gonna do. So while a lot of people was just looping things, I was kind of ahead of the curve with chopping little slices.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's ill now because I look at the Ableton and it's almost like they've created these machines based off of like my old production style. I mean, because it's undeniable. You know what I'm saying? Some of the newer artists might not realize that their machines was influenced by our production style.
Of course, definitely hip hop, you know, change everything. So you have all the newer production equipment, you know, is made. Okay, you know. So what kind of equipment did you use after the Casio?
After the Casio, I would basically just go to the studio and like, cause I started doing pause tapes, I would go there and I would tell the engineers back in them days, this is how a lot of people was making beats. They would just get the ideas, go there and tell the engineer, cause he would be nice with the MPC, the MPC in the Akai.
Right.
S950.
Right. Yep.
Everybody was working with them two things together. That was the 1-2 punch. And
the SP.
Yeah, the SP2.
Right.
Yeah, the SP2, no doubt. And the Akai, it would be either the MP and the Akai or the SP and the Akai.
Right.
And we would just tell them what to do. And for the most part, the only thing that we would have hands on is when we was programming the drums. You know what I mean? So we would put that rhythm underneath it and then be like, yo, okay, now loop this, you know what I mean? And put that there. And, you know, so they would do most of the programming, but we would, you know, at least I would make sure my hands was on that drum.
And this is like 92, 93 or?
This was late 80s, man.
Late 80s, okay.
Late 80s, man. This is like, shit, man. This is like 80, 86, 87, 88. This is old, Jay. I'm a OG.
I know.
I'm an OG. So this is way back. And you know, then I started DJing. You know, I think most producers have a DJ spirit as well.
Yeah.
So I have my 2 turntables in my room, and I used to be like, bam, bam. You know, that's all. That was part of hip hop too. So that's part of my story. And were
you rocking parties?
Sometimes family joints, but not like, you know, out there.
Right.
You know, I was kind of young, and my other cousin, may rest in power. Thomas Nelson was, you know, he was affectionately known to us as Noki. That was his nickname. And he was nice on the wheels too. But he was into more like he was into hip hop, but he was also into dance hall music.
Okay.
You know, his side of town, they had a lot of everybody from the Caribbean, the Jamaicans, the Trinidadians, the Haitians.
I'm from Flatbush, so I already know.
Yeah. And so he was part of that Flatbush scene too. And then he, you know, he started dabbling with the Crips, because Crips are strong in Flatbush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his name became. We called him Noki. Then they start calling him Noke Loke.
Okay.
And that was my heart, man. Really hurt when he passed.
My condolences.
Yeah, unfortunately, the streets, the streets don't love nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The streets is crazy out there, man. So, a lot of brothers, died too early in the streets.
Yeah. I feel like hip hop gave people an outlet to get out the streets,
Absolutely. It was, and even, when I first got with the deal with RZA, I went to him and I said, yo, I just got this deal, man. I don't want you in the streets no more. I seen it coming. Other friends is getting killed and his partners, I'm like, yo, I don't want you in the streets no more. I said, I'll buy you a machine. I was like, yo, come to my house every day so I could teach you how to use this goddamn Sonic and get you out. And, I was like, yo, G, it's money to be made. We can live good. We don't got to be in these streets. And he would come over, but he didn't seem interested. You know what I mean? It was almost like it was like too late. And I'd be trying to teach him and I was getting frustrated.
Right.
Wasn't paying attention.
Everything's not for everybody,
Everything's not for everybody. And, I saw it coming. I can't explain it. And even when he got killed, I woke up in the middle of the night, probably as soon as that shit happened, I knew something was wrong. It's like, yo, I couldn't rest. It was a crazy feeling like I never felt. I had to get up out the bed. I tried to sit back down. My body wouldn't let me sit down on the bed. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Then I started hearing screaming upstairs. It was in the middle of the night. So they had got the call. So I jumped up in the middle of the night, shot out there, and they had the shit taped off. And only way I was able to get close to him is because I had a cousin on the force. He was a police officer. He got out of his bed to come there. So it was like a few of my family members, and because he was a police officer and my first cousin, he was able to allow us to come closer and get right up on him and, and be with him. It was just a fucked up time, man. And, so, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't had any close family members, die from the streets, but
yeah, when they die from the street, it hurts a little more because it's over some stupidity, and
they could have had a much longer life. So much,
But he impacted a lot of people. Everybody loved him, and he impacted all of the kids loved him. I mean, he was like, he had this. Everybody loved him. I mean, he just had this personality, man. It was very charismatic and very magnetic.
Okay. Yeah. And he was DJing as well, like doing sound.
He was DJing. He was doing what they call dub plates.
Right.
How they make dub plates is like little, your own little records from little battles with other people in different sets, battling sets, and
sound classes.
Yeah, sound class. It was the King Tribe set.
Okay.
I
got a couple of dub plates myself.
Yeah. Shout out to Oliver. Shout out to Courtney, Marshall. All the brothers from Pine Street, across the street from Cypress Projects. Shout out to my family. All those is my family too, man.
Right. No, tell me how you first started working with the Wu-Tang and also Guru as well. I guess you knew him from the neighborhood and you grew up also with the little Dat from Group Home, right?
Well, yeah, definitely. Vic Black, you know Vic Black?
Yeah, I know Vic. Yep.
Okay, Vic lived a few doors down from me on my block.
Good dude. I used to DJ at Sputnik Lounge, which he co-owned.
Right, Sputnik. Right, he was rocking with Sputnik now.
Right.
I helped him when he did a few parties there, Big Daddy Kane shows and different things like that. And but he lived right on my block. That's now imagine all of us on the same block.
Right.
So Vic, I'm here. Vic is a few doors down. I fool right across the street. Master Killer cousin right in front of my house, but he lived down the block around the corner. And so Vic, you know, Vic is how I got cool with Gangstar.
Right.
And Guru early. So now, and here's an ill story. Vic almost got killed on my block. My mother saved his life.
Wow.
That's an ill story. True story. Yeah. It's a small world.
Yeah.
Small world. Yeah. Shout out to Vic Black. I ain't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he's a good
shout
dude.
out to the Gangstar Foundation. Shout out to all the brothers.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some kind of Gangstar Foundation reunion show. I was talking to a few people about it. You know, that's in the works. Hopefully.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, definitely. So you grew up around them, and that's how the Jazzmatazz and the Ill Kid songs happen.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I went to, of course, you know, I'm with Black, so
right.
You know, I went to the Words That I Manifest video shoots, all those, you know, and you know, at that time early on, I was, you know, really on my MC game. And you know, me and Guru just would be rhyming for hours, smoking blunts and hanging out, and we just really clicked, you know. And then
oh, by the way, speaking of Vic Black, for the fans out there, go watch Gangstar just to get a rep video. He's the guy that Dap and them rob, and he comes back and gets them later.
Yeah, he got the ball head.
He's
also the guy in the video Step in the Arena. If you go watch the Step in the Arena video, you got Malachi from Group Home fighting Black. Little Malachi, but he's brolic, and Big is brolic, but he's bigger. Now I'm Malachi's coach in the ring. If you watch the video, I got I think I got a Mets hat on, and I'm his coach.
Wow, I gotta go watch that one again.
Yeah, go watch Step in the Arena. And
yeah, another video I noticed you were in was the Genius first video.
Yeah, Come Do Me.
Come Do Me. You're on the bench reading the newspaper.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the bench. You can also see us because we would play multiple roles. I'm in the club dancing, dirty dancing in the club. We all dancing, having a good time. And but I had the cameo where I'm sitting on the bench waiting at the bus stop. And the girls, you know, they come sit on the bench to like kind of play it off like they're not following the Jizzer, who was at that time the Genius.
Right.
And like they're not stalking them, but they were stalking them.
Right. I remember Raekwon was painting.
Raekwon was painting. You know, I had brought my little homegirl with me. She's in the scene dancing with me. Rest in peace, Lisa. She was a bad Puerto Rican girl, and her boyfriend killed her because of jealousy. Man, that was some real bullshit.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. What's the projects right there by on Flushing Avenue, right by the bridges? Well, she lived in them projects.
Where, in Queens?
She's the girl from Nice and Smooth Joint when Greg Nice say, so I could get mellow, lay back and let my girl play the cello. She's the girl playing the cello in that video with a bikini on.
Right.
Yeah, I had took her to the video shoot. I just thought about her because her boyfriend killed her in some kind of jealous frenzy, which didn't make no sense because she was just a good girl. And yeah. But those was the days, man, you know, when we was first, you know, trying to get on and make things happen.
Right.
And Jizzer had to deal with Cold Chillin'. And you know, Moby did the album except for one song, which was that Come Do Me song was produced by Jesse West.
Yeah,
what up, Jess?
Sound like an Easy Moby beat.
Huh?
It didn't sound like an Easy Moby production.
Yeah, you know, a little, but when you hear the other joints on there, you really hear Mo say.
Right.
my favorite joint on that album was Slamming. The Genius is Slamming.
I like Pass the Bone.
Yeah, Pass the Bone was a joint too. Yeah, I was in the studio. I took Sid to the studio when they was making that. Sid is Afura's brother. But yeah, man, it's a lot of good memories from back then, you know, as we was, I guess, honing our craft and refining everything.
How did you first get cool with the Jizzer and get into that whole Wu-Tang cipher? Was it through being a 5%er or?
Well, the 5% is what served as a very strong common thread.
Right.
Yeah, I met them one night. I was with my managers at the time. They was called Nova Star Management out in Queens. They was managing a dude named Safiq, Lord Safiq. He had a joint, mean joint. And they used to play it on Mr. Magic, Red Alert.
Okay.
And I heard it, and I, you know, since I knew he was God body by what he was rhyming about. So I went to look for his management, like that, you know, like that could possibly be somewhere where I would have some kind of commonality with people.
Right.
And but he was the only God body. The managers, they was cool people. Shout out to Tony and Oss.
Right.
And we was walking one night in the city, and Melquan and Jizzer and Rodman was coming this way. We going this way. I seen the universal flags, so I knew they was God. It's Peace to the God, Peace to the God. We stopped. We started building.
Right.
Yo, you rhyme? Yeah, I rhyme. And we started spitting. Matter of fact, the seminar was going on at that time, so there was a lot of MCs in the city, hanging around the seminar.
Right.
And so we start rhyming, and you know, I had a style. I used to rhyme backwards, and since it was all of them, I just, you know, I pulled that style out, and they was like, "Ooh, ooh," you know what I'm saying? And we was like, "Yo, let's exchange numbers." And then I started hanging out with them, and because everybody was God body, it just seemed more like I had more in common with all of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then Mel Quan started managing me too. And you know, and we'd be together all the time, man. Just meet up in the city, hang out.
Right.
And then you know, RZA was the first one with a workstation in his house. And so I would take records over there.
Right.
And kind of like the same kind of thing like I was telling you with the in the studios. You know, I didn't really know how to work the workstation, but I was ill. At that time, I had already did a whole album that I produced myself, rhymed on the whole thing. I had a deal on the table with Mercury. And
you all got to hear that, and it never came out, right?
Yo, crazy. I was killing it, Lord. You know what I mean? But I produced the whole album, and I used to go to RZA's house and kind of make beats. Like he would do the same thing the engineers would do. You know what I mean? I might help out, you know, if it wasn't a sample drum with a drum pattern, and he would help me formulate my ideas because he knew how to work the machine. So I eventually learned how to work the machine from going to his crib, and then eventually.
Right. That was with the ASR 10 or something else.
That was the 16 plus.
Okay.
And then he asked me did I want to buy it. I said sure, hell yeah. So I bought it.
Right.
You know, but that by the time I bought it, he had already made, you know, 36 Chambers and a lot of songs for the other albums.
Right.
You know, because we was just grinding it out. And yeah, so that's how it all started.
Did you make Brooklyn Zoo on that machine?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a joint. That's a classic joint. Me as a DJ,
Yeah,
I can
that's
play
a
it
classic
anytime.
joint, no
It's so
doubt.
crazy.
That's one of the most licensed song in the Wu-Tang catalog. You know, so it's a good thing that, you know, I was able to do that joint, because that's like the gift that keeps giving. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I you know, I love all my beats, because
Got a
there's
lot of bangers, so many.
yeah,
I
man.
can't even think. You know, off the top of my head, of course, you gotta love Fish. You know, from Ghostface Iron Man album. That beat is crazy. I had Planet Asia rap on that on one of my mixtapes. You know, I don't know if you ever heard that. I'll send it to you.
Well, I need a copy of that. Let me get that.
I got you.
Let me get that. I want to hear that.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I mean,
you know, Slang Editorial. Biscuits too. Biscuits from
Biscuits,
the
and
Pretty Tony
then
album.
it's like Fish and Biscuits, so it's like they go together.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Yep. And then you did a lot of stuff on the Wu Syndicate album, right?
Nah.
No, you did the album?
Nah. I wanna do something with Maya Lansky and them though. It's just I've been real busy. You know, I'm in school full time now. I graduate next month, so that's a good thing.
Right. Oh, One Step. Definitely Killer Priest, One Step.
Yeah, One Step.
And how many people came back to that same sample and flipped it? But you were the first one
I was the first one. I was the first one. I remember Alchemist. He came after me
with Dilated People.
And then everybody started, you know, because at that time I was on fire, and the Klan was like, you know, the Klan was on fire. So I'm doing things, and it was a time, I say for about 5 years, G. Nothing wasn't touching me, bro. And I ain't arrogant.
Heaters.
But it was like every time something dropped, radio was killing it, the mixtapes is killing it, you know. Everybody's asking for meetings with me. It was crazy, you know. It was a little overwhelming, because at the same time, I'm signed to Wu-Tang Production. So that means I'm obligated to have work on all these albums. We got 9, 10 brothers, all nice. And it's like, damn, I gotta feed all these, but then I got other people like, yo, I need something. You know, it was just like, God damn.
Working with Capadonna, Method Man, Sunshine, Breeze, Grave Diggers.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Crazy. So, what was your favorite piece of equipment for the majority of your production?
It would have to be the 16, you know, the ASR too. The ASR was my boo. You know what I mean? You could do things on the ASR you couldn't do on the EPS, and vice versa. Right. So they both had a special thing of their own. And you know, I like, but they was fundamentally the same machine, just with little things that made each one uniquely special. And so, you know, some beats I made on the 16 plus, some beats I made on the ASR.
I remember that Black Rob joint from the second album with the Mr. Farrakhan sample on it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Right. I had that on a mixtape at the time. And I remember hearing that album with Rob. He played me the whole album before it came out, because I was living in Harlem on 119th, and his mom had an apartment in Thomas Jefferson projects, and he had a studio in there. So we would go over there and work. You know, Timbo would come by, other people, and you know, I remember building him a lot.
Yeah, Rob is a good dude, man. I always like Rob, and may he rest in peace forever.
Yeah.
We had Ben was supposed to work. Like I said, a lot of people I was been supposed to work with, and then I saw Rob in Harlem. He was like, man, it's been too long, Lord. We let's get this over with. Go ahead and do something, man. So
right.
I went down to the studio, played a few joints, and that was it, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that was a banger too, definitely.
And it definitely has that True Master sound. You have a certain sound. I can just hear it. Oh, that's a True Master beat, huh? Like, yeah, how do you know? You know it.
Yeah, because I like to keep my shit too. Back in them days, we would do a lot of filtering on the bass,
right,
to give our shit a real gritty, bassy sound,
right,
and then again, my signature choppy style, you
right.
know, so you know, I would chop shit down where I wouldn't be necessarily looping things, you know, and at that time too, it was like you got publishing requirements.
Right.
And for those that don't know, if you have a publishing deal, you have to deliver a certain amount of songs. And one song in publishing for a producer means you got to do 2 beats, because a beat is half of a song.
Right.
So let's say you got a 10-song publishing requirement, you got to do 20 songs. You got to produce 20 songs. But if you sample them, if you sample something, but that's a loop, it's less than a half, because now the other person owns a portion of it. So in order to make my requirements, because a lot of people wasn't thinking like that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to clear nothing. I want my shit to be so unique that I own 100% of the music, which is 50% of the song, which is half of the song. So it would at least count, each beat I produce would count towards 50% of a song towards my publishing requirement.
Right. You were BMI, ASCAP, CSEC?
ASCAP.
Okay. Yeah. I've dealt with all 3, but
yeah. Now we have sound exchange and all kind of other new things. We're in a whole new world now.
Right.
With streaming and everything, and
yeah, streaming, it's so accessible, the music, and that's a beautiful thing. But for an artist.
When artists, they paying us, they you know, people, you gotta understand, man. This music business to me always seemed like a damn exploitation / slavery fucking shit, because they shouldn't even be owning the master. They shouldn't even have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to say, you know, here's an advance, you pay me back and I still own the masters. That don't make no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
And this is why when you produce and you create a new thing that you own, even though they own the master, you own the copyright. People don't know the copyright really supersedes the master. And this is why if somebody makes an interpolation of the song, they don't get no money. So when Alicia Keys and Jermaine Dupri remade Brooklyn Zoo with musicians, that cuts the label out. Now you got to deal directly with the copyright owner.
Right.
Because the copyright is the master is composed of the copyright, comprised of the copyright rather. Right. And I own the copyright. And that's the good thing about making original stuff. You own the copyright. So like Raphael Sadiq and Kendrick Lamar used Brooklyn Zoo. A lot of people don't know. It's a song Raphael did on his last album called Rear View. Like a rear view mirror.
Right. I think I heard it before.
Yeah.
I've heard other people use it too. I can't remember who else.
A lot of people use Brooklyn Zoo. Like I said, it's one of them. Common used it. Everybody, every so often I get a call, at least twice a year. Yeah, I need that Brooklyn Zoo license. You know? And
as long as they dope. As long as they dope. You know?
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, I'm at the point now, I ain't turning down nobody. You want to use it? Godspeed. Because you know what it is? It's like now we in a different chamber. And it's like let people do their thing. Because some of the older cats, when brothers was trying to sample their stuff, they would listen to the lyrics and go, nah, you can't use it. Even with big artists. And it's like, we trying to keep y'all, like Kane said, if we didn't strive to bring back alive old records, you wouldn't survive. You'd be just another memory to us. Ashes to ashes, to dust to dust. You know, so we you know,
hip hop makes you go back.
Showing respect.
Right. It makes you go back and listen to these original samples, you know?
Yeah. Facts.
That's how the new generation finds out about artists. They look, oh, this is William Bell right here. Oh, this is, you know, Delphonics. So, you know, okay. You know. So you staying hydrated. Water is life.
You gotta stay hydrated. I drink plenty of water. Gotta drink water. You know, you should drink at least half your body weight in water in ounces a day. So if you weigh 200, you should be drinking at least 100 ounces.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what the elder Dick Gregory, you know, he used to say that, and Layla Africa. Both of them, may they rest in peace. They both used to say that same thing.
My father-in-law was telling me to read Dick Gregory's book. I'm not sure which one, but he talked about fasting and health.
Yeah, fasting fasting doesn't get enough props, but the medical establishment has finally started to recognize the amazing benefits of fasting. Anything can be really, especially all degenerative ailments, can be, you know, addressed with fasting. And you would think that if you fasting, you're not going to have enough strength to fight whatever it is wrong with you. When in fact, that's what will trigger your body to go into super fight mode. You understand? And if you think you're getting weaker, or you don't have energy because of the fast, that's just a side effect of a withdrawal from all of the artificial carbs that's sugar. Right. So you basically having like a withdrawal symptoms, and you go through that temporarily, and then that stops. So you may experience a little light fatigue when you first start fasting, but then when you finish, energy goes through the roof.
Right. Yeah, I do some intermittent.
You realize appetite and all that, and hunger is all mental.
Yeah, sometimes I won't eat for 15, 18 hours or so, you know, and then break fast.
Well, 18 hours, that's what they call now they call it the intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting, right.
And so they say you should eat within an 8-hour window.
Right.
And then if you wait another 18 hours to make it 24. But it's they say you need 16 hours for your food to fully digest. However,
right.
Once you go to 18 hours, your body goes into what they call atrophy, or
right.
I think that's how you pronounce it. You know, atrophy, where your body starts to eat its own fat.
And I need to be doing more of that sometimes.
There was a guy, you can look this up, Western medicine studied him. He was 400 and something pounds. He fasted for a little over a year and got all the way down to, I think, a little under 200. And he didn't eat nothing, but the doctors and them was watching to make sure it was safe. And when you lose weight like that, your body eating its fat, meaning you won't be left with fat sagging skin.
Right. Like
as if you worked out and lost the weight through cardio or something. Now you're losing the weight, the calories, but you got flabby skin, sagging, and all kind of shit. Once you start incorporating fasting, that starts to naturally get rid of that. And you start to shrink down, you know, like as if you never was fat.
Right.
And that dude is a perfect example of that. You know, so it's a lot of things, you know, with fasting. They're even getting ready to start using it for things like cancer, because when you go into atrophy stage, you also begin to your body eats the cancer cells. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's wrong with the body, it starts correcting it. And like I said, you would think that your body gets weaker when you're fasting, but in fact, it's just in a overdrive mode of fixing everything, because all your energy is normally consumed digesting the food you eat.
Right. I will say, being in the dojo, there are a lot of Muslim brothers in the dojo who fast, and sometimes they have a hard time keeping up. You know, when they've been fasting for days. You know, but that's extreme training. You know, for hours, doing jujitsu, karate, and all that.
Yeah. So you've been taking jujitsu?
Yeah. Well, I do Kumite Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, so it's like Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, karate, some Filipino arnis. You know, Dr. Moses Powell, right? I'm familiar with the name. So Sanukas Ryu and one of his top black belts is Soki Little John Davis. That's from him came Kumite Ryu. It's all the same family though. VSK, V Arnis Jitsu, Sanukas Ryu, Kumite Ryu.
When I was young, my mother had me in everything. Little league, football tournaments, basketball tournaments, karate class, the cadets, you name it.
Right.
You know, weekend art programs. She was
that's
really
good parenting. You know,
that gives your child a lot of, you know, variety of experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was in a karate school called Shorin Jiru. Shorin Jiru Karate.
Right.
You know, they have now the school, I think it's on Jamaica Ave down by Franklin K. Lane High School. It used to be in a YMCA on Jamaica Ave in Highland.
Right. That's an old school, I think it's Okinawan karate that was brought to Japan.
Yeah. It's you know, when I went there, I was one of the first. I think I was the first student that won a trophy in that school. And I started winning trophies bigger than me. I was young.
Right.
G, I was nice with that shit. And
you still remember some?
A little something. We had the katas.
Yeah.
Katas, you know. But I do the little I do Tai Chi in the different forms, you know. It's like the katas.
Yeah.
And Myron M. Lupus was our sensei. I think he's still a sensei. He might be old now. Really good man. He was like a father figure to me. You know what I mean? And like I said, when you're young like that, in your formative years, and you have really good people around you, you remember them, Jay. You don't forget them.
Right. Good mentors.
Yeah, bro.
Activities for the youth is what every kid needs. They always say it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, Jay. Exactly. Myron M. Lupus is a white Jewish dude. Right. Well, he was like, he was one of the men when I was young, I looked at like a father figure.
Right.
Straight up. Because it was more than just a karate school. You know what I mean?
Spirituality.
He'd take us around to different, you know, take us out to
eat.
It's
mentorship. It's helping.
Jay.
It's
show
taking
concern
and helping them grow and achieve, you know, their dreams and you know,
guaranteed.
That's my, you know, I love working with kids. You know, I did a summer youth program 3 years in a row at MASA, Martial Arts USA. It's a Grandmaster Bill McLeod school where I taught kids about music appreciation.
Right.
And we also did jiu-jitsu and karate with them. And, you know, I love working with the kids. You know, I got 2 god kids. You know, hopefully soon I'll have a couple of kids of my own. You know, we're working on that, me and my wife.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's...
You know, even if you can't have kids or you don't have kids, you still can raise kids and be a very positive influence in their life, and they'll never forget you, man.
Yeah.
They'll never forget you. if you really care and you show concern, they'll never forget you.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. Mm-hmm. Facts.
Yeah, that's one thing, I feel like extracurricular activities is so important for the youth. And me, I love martial arts. Martial arts is what helped bring me to Wu-Tang because I love hip hop and martial arts. And it was like, oh, you sampling all the Shaw Brothers movies, and this is my shit.
Oh,
and then,
man,
I grew up around the gods too. So martial arts, Nation of Gods and Earths, hip hop.
Yeah,
this is for me.
Yeah. I with the martial arts, my cousin Aaron and Baron, they was the first ones to take me to 42nd Street to watch the Kung Fu flicks. And we used to go there. Of course, we taking blunts, we taking 40s in the movie theater. You know what I mean? And we used to have a ball, man. Of course, taking flicks on the 40 Deuce was also a part of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those were the days, man. And of course, we had the Saturday afternoon Shaw Brothers cinema for the most part, because most of the flicks were Shaw Brothers joints. And it's amazing how, Wu-Tang ended up just blowing to the point where, you finally get to meet some of these dudes. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh man. And, I want to meet Gordon Liu before. I heard he's not doing well.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My favorite martial artist star, it used to be Gordon Liu until it became Tai Lung. You know who Tai Lung is?
I'm not sure.
That's my man right there. His style is Gordon Liu.
I'm gonna look him up
because Gordon Liu and Liu Chai Lang and Liu Chai, because the first name is their last name. They all brothers. Gordon Liu, who's Master Killer, is actually brothers with the teacher from Mad Monkey or the legendary Weapons of Kung Fu. Those are two brothers that's fighting.
I guess he is right.
They're actually brothers fighting in that movie, and they're Master Killer's brothers. His older brothers. So it's interesting when you learn that some of them is related.
Right.
You start to get into the history. Tai Lung, he was like the big brother out of the crew.
Right.
10 Tigers, a Tongue, stuff like that. He's the biggest, he's the eldest brother.
Okay.
And his form, I think he was then they started making movies because you watch their careers as they evolved. They started making movies with better cinematography. Just everything became so just the scenery was amazing. The costumes and
the choreography too.
Yeah, for me, they were really doing their thing on the flicks, man.
Yen Wu Ping, I think, took the choreography to the next level. He did the original Drunken Master, Prodigal Son, Snake and Eagle
Prodigal Son. Oh man, Prodigal Son is one of my favorites too.
When he knocks the dude, when he checks the dude in midair and knocks him down the stairs in the temple.
Yeah, that was an L movie.
That's some stuff I do in real fight.
Yeah,
you gotta jump kick me, I'm gonna catch you in the air, send you.
Yeah, I had, I liked this movie called Kung Fu Cult Master.
Yep.
That's where I really got. That's where I got the Persia Legacy name from. Because it was the Persian cult, and then it was the Shaolin. The Shaolin had all these different various clans as part of their crew. But Wu-Tang was the people who was running Shaolin.
Right.
The Wu-Tang Master was running Shaolin, and they was the leader of all the different Kung Fu. Then you had the cult crew over here. And it was kind of reminded me of a Kung Fu West Side Story kind of movie, because they didn't like them, but the son from the Shaolin fell in love with the daughter from the Persian cult.
Right. And really, that's just Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, they had a baby.
Right.
And only the elder, the abbot of Shaolin and the elder Lion King of the cult, you know, realize this beef is foolish. Look at our kids, they in love with each other.
Right.
They just had a baby and all the other clans is wanting to kill the baby and all kind of stupid shit.
Right.
And that's one of my favorite movies, man.
I love that one. I love you know, some of the samurai movies as well. The whole Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart Assassin series.
Yes, sir.
If you look at my arm, I got the Ronin tattoo with Osamu Ito and Daigoro, you know, his son.
Yeah, that's fact. Yo, those movies, man, like I said, man, those are some beautiful movies, man.
Yeah.
You know, they have everything in there. Jewels, you know, everything. So as you get a whole package.
Right.
You know
I grew up on Kurosawa movies. You know, Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, and all that. Hidden Fortress, which influenced Westerns, gangster movies, Star Wars, everything.
Yo, I started collecting movies from overseas that you can't even get over here. I got boxes of movies nobody never heard of, bro. I'm getting ready to start sharing some of those with some of my peoples and shit.
Yeah, I got a setup in my backyard where I play. If you have a DVD, I can play it against the wall and hook it up to big JBL speakers. So I got movie nights in my backyard.
Yeah, I do that. I do that in my house too. I have the projector.
I got a projector.
I got the projector, but now the technology, they got an app to make your phone a projector.
Right.
On the wall. You know, certain kind of Android phones where they got a certain camera on the top now.
Right.
That can actually serve as a projector.
Is it good, the quality? I haven't seen
quality is good, man. You know, we in the future now, man. This is on and popping. Everything is so advanced and you know, even the cost, the cost is nothing compared to what, you know, I bought my projector for back in the days. You know. So
yeah, I hook up my PlayStation 4 to a projector and then just play DVDs from there.
Yeah,
and I have the speakers plugged into the projector.
Yeah, I got a lot of movies, you know. I got a bunch of classics with Tai Lung that, you know, a lot of people never heard of. Because I would order them joints from overseas, you know, and I would go down into Chinatown and go into the go into the stores where they sell only Chinese movies.
Right.
So you gotta buy them in Chinese, but they have the subtitles.
I like those better.
You're gonna have to read the subtitles in some of them joints you get from Chinatown. But it be joints that you never seen before, bro. Yeah. With a lot of your favorite stars, you be like, I've never heard this. And then you start, you know, I remember I was telling Reza, yo, I found it. He was like, what? Yo, I ordered this joint. I never heard of that. I was like, I never heard of it. And you know, once you start seeing that it's a whole bunch of shit you never even seen or heard of, you're like, yo, man, let me get some of that.
Right. You got to look at the directors, and then you'll find everything. Like a lot of it never left Hong Kong or never left, you know, it never came.
Yeah. They never licensed it over here fully. Right. So, but classic joints, man. And then some of them are even more like deeper than most of the Kung Fu flicks you saw. Like there'd be like really, really deep storylines, man. You know, and they don't, you know, sometimes some of the Ocean Shore videos, they be more comical. Some of the joints I would find would be really serious plots and really, you know, deep storylines.
Right.
You know, so like I seen this joint called, I think it's called Chi Mud. And it was about a famous sword, the Chi Mud, off the chain, bro.
I'm gonna talk to you
I
later.
gotta show people some of these joints because
Yeah.
it felt like, if you're really a fan, I think you would enjoy it. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start sharing some of them.
I got a little collection. Have you seen this new kung fu flick called Paper Tigers?
Nah, I didn't see that.
It's on Netflix now. It's a Asian American film, and the guys are like kung fu champs in the early '90s, and then they get away from it, and it comes back, and their Shifu got killed, and then now they're middle aged, and they haven't been training, and they're trying to find out who killed their Shifu. And
did you see the joint on Netflix called Detective Lee or something like that? Detective something like that?
I saw it. I didn't watch it yet.
Hold on. Get this off the screen. Oh shit.
No, I can't see it.
Hold up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, something came up, a notification came on my screen and I tried to get rid of it and it sent me to the other screen. But yeah, it's a lot of good movies, man. They're Detective Z or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched the Indonesian movies, Raid Redemption, and Raid 2?
Yeah. Oh yeah, those off the chain. Woo. And the plots, you know what I'm saying? Those got really good stories too.
Right. And those guys have gone into Hollywood now. They're doing good.
Yeah.
Iko Uwais and what's the other guy's name? The other guy, he's in Warrior. It's on HBO Max. Have you seen that show, Warrior?
Mm-mm.
Listen, this is my show. This is Bruce Lee's original concept for a guy coming from China to California, in the late 1800s. That kung fu stole, and his daughter is involved in the production, and it's the main character is Andrew Koji, who played who did he play? I think he played Snake Eyes. No. He played Storm Shadow in that new Snake Eyes movie that came out. The new G.I. Joe movie. But Warrior, guy coming from Hong Kong, gets caught up in the triads, and then you have the Irish unions beefing with the factory owners. Oh, you're hiring these Chinese laborers, and then they getting crazy and racist, and the mayors are corrupt, the politicians are corrupt, and the cops are corrupt, and some cops are trying to clean up, the violence and just crazy.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, man, a lot of those movies got some amazing plots, man.
There's a series.
They have those like the almost like the operatic type of things with all this irony in it. You know what I mean? And but really deep plots, and really great storylines, man. So
right.
I like really getting into the whole. To me, they're some of the best made movies, man. All around, action, plot, and jewels in there. You know what I mean? And sometimes they should really show good.
Hold on a second. Let me get the cat. The cat keeps crying. Come on in. But I was saying.
What's your cat name?
Girl, this is the girl, Gouda. What's up? What's up, girl? Come here. Come here. Stop crying. Shh.
Gouda, what up, Gouda? Gouda trying
to. she just nosy.
Yeah.
Her and her brother, both of them. But I was saying the new All Elements logo. I took the original AE from my old logo and made it like the Shaw Brothers logo.
That's a good idea.
So it's a mashup of my old All Elements logo with the Shaw Brothers logo.
Great idea.
See on the YouTube. Yeah. But and then I'm doing martial arts interviews, interviewing different martial arts masters and whatnot.
That's a good idea. Good idea.
I'm trying to bring the hip hop community to the martial arts community. And the show is a whole nother show called Rolling with Ronin. And I only did one episode. I got another episode filmed. But I know I'm not in the best of shape, but I'm trying to encourage people to get in better shape and get off the drugs and the alcohol and train and eat better and get healthier. Because
That's where
I'm
I'm at.
tired of going to funerals. I'm too many people from the generation before me, and even my generation, are dying, the depression.
Yeah, too early, and I was just talking to my brother-in-law
Right.
yesterday. He had got sick, and he went away to a retreat. And I have been trying to get him to eat healthy, and now he's eating nothing but healthy food. You know what I'm saying? And everything. Yesterday he told me he don't even need his glasses no more.
His eyes got better, huh?
His eyes done, they done released all the mucus behind him.
Did he have diabetes or something? Because I know that can affect your eyes.
Well, everyone who most people that have their eyesight messed up, bro, it can be treated through diet and stuff like that. And you seem like you would think, nah, I remember I gave this girl I was dealing with some living bitters. The different type of bitters. Living bitters, that particular brand, it really cleans out your whole digestive tract like nothing else, bro. Cape olive. The key ingredient is Cape olive. And it just, everybody that took it was like, it's amazing how it made them feel. You know what I'm saying? You once you get rid of all of the toxins in your body, you feel lighter, you feel clearer, no more brain fog. You're thinking, it's almost like, I know whenever I fast, right? My thoughts are always thinking about things that I would have not been thinking about. Now I'm doing things that I neglected or I forgot about.
Right.
Like, you remember what you need to do when you fast, and you get a very clear focus. It's hard to explain. You're just more sharp. You know what I'm saying? And you quick to get shit done. Things getting done.
Sharp, clear, focus. No, that's
clear, focus. And like I was saying about the intermittent fasting, that's why the brothers in the Nation of Islam glow. Because they eat one meal a day. Most of them eat it at the same time. So they've been intermittent fasting for years.
Right. How to eat to live.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. They eat one meal a day at the same time. It's like fasting every day.
Right. Also, a lot of them do martial arts. I'm gonna throw that in there. A lot of them are.
I know.
They're in my same jiu-jitsu family. So.
Yeah, Brother Arthur, who's the head of the mosque number 7 in Harlem now.
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's a mean martial artist, bro.
He's
and he know all that jiu-jitsu stuff you talk about.
Right, he's probably doing Sanuk VSK jiu-jitsu because Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad, now known as Grandmaster Abdul Aziz, he's one of the top guys who trains all the Fruit of Islam.
Well,
he's from Brooklyn,
Abdul Aziz,
but he used to be Anthony Muhammad. He had the Worlds Collide dojo on Flatbush Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, which was Grandmaster Bill and Dr. Moses Powell, and they were all there. So it's the same circle. So even I have the show tomorrow with J Electronica, and I got Fruit of Islam brothers hit me up. Oh, Ronin, I'm gonna be there. Oh, just because they family from jiu-jitsu. It's a whole nother family I'm a part of.
Yeah. Give J Electronica a shout out for me.
I definitely will. I would love to see y'all working together.
Yeah, I would love to do something with them.
Mm-hmm.
What's our logistics in terms of?
We got some more time. I know it's getting late, but I also wanted to build with you about your case and what happened and you getting.
Okay. Let's go into that. I don't want to go too much into that.
Right.
Except that the prosecutors knew I was innocent from within, I'd say about 3 months in. Because that's when they finished the first rounds of tests. The first round of the test was the most important tests. They proved that I didn't commit the most serious allegation against
me. Right.
And so therefore they was just holding me in there.
And you were in Rikers for what, 4 years or something crazy like that?
For 4 years, bro. So a little over 4 years. And I had to figure out how to force them to have a trial. So I only had a trial because I figured out how to force them to do it.
Wow.
Did it with a habeas corpus. So yeah, so it's just an amazing story. And thankfully I got the legendary civil rights attorney, Benjamin Crump, representing me.
Right.
And we're trying to get the arresting officer fired. He lied on me in an arrest complaint.
Right. I signed the petition to.
Yeah, it's a petition I got going. You can throw that in. I'll give you a link to throw in the description.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an email blast as well for the interview, and I'll include that in there along with all your.
Yeah. But I recently found out some more extremely egregious stuff by him. He also lied in the search warrant application.
Right.
He claimed it was based on conversations he had with me. It says, my reasonable cause to believe I will find these things in his house based on conversations he had with me, but he never had no conversations with me. So when I got him on the stand, I got him to admit that he didn't have no conversations with me, and to admit that I never spoke to any one of his colleagues, and I refused to speak to everyone. And then when I said, so since I didn't speak to you, how come your search warrant application says it's based on conversations you had with me? That's implying that I incriminated myself. Right. And he was like, nah, that's not in my search warrant application. So I gave him a copy. And that's when he was like, he remembered that he had lied. See, liars don't know, they lie so much, they get caught up. You're not lying, so you just listening to them, and they the ones, and they switching up shit. You like, hey, just gonna throw some other shit. So when I caught him, he then tried to blame it on the prosecutor and said, I didn't write this search warrant application, the prosecutor wrote it, which is impossible. The statute requires him to write it. When he signs it, it says that he wrote it under penalty of perjury. You know, if he's, I swear to everything in this, because it's his application.
All in front of the court, all this happened?
This happened during the trial. But here's, the latest thing, and of course the prosecutor's not going to say that they wrote it. They're going to make him hold that. But I also found out that he had threw a young black kid through a window. While he was handcuffed, because he had assaulted me in my house when I was handcuffed. And then he, I had asked him, isn't it true y'all brutalized me when I was handcuffed, when you was arrested me in my house? He was like, nah. And I said, well, have you ever been accused of or found guilty of unnecessary or excessive force? And he said, no. But at that time, I later found out that he was lying. He had been already found guilty of it. Right. And then I went and I looked into it, and I recently found out what he was found guilty of was throwing a little black kid through a window while he was handcuffed, through a store window, and the glass lodged in the kid's heart and lungs. So he had to be rushed to the hospital to save his life with emergency surgery. And I'm shocked he didn't get fired then, because Al Sharpton and them had all these big press conferences to get him fired, and they only suspended him for a while. Wow. Or took his vacation days and gave him desk duty, shit like that. The prosecutor in the Bronx declined to prosecute him. So it was just but the good thing is, when you lie in an arrest complaint, the department has to fire you. Understand? There's a cop could get away with killing somebody and have it justified, but there's no justification when you can show that they are knowingly lying in a complaint or under oath before any jury, whether it's criminal or civil or, you know, any official documents that they have to give statements in. They can't lie in those documents, or it's automatic grounds for termination. And that's why I really need the petition signed, because the Civilian Complaint Review Board has submitted a complaint to the Internal Affairs Bureau, or the NYPD, about 2.5 years ago, and they've never done anything. They never started an investigation. They never called me like they're supposed to do, because they have to fire him. So they've been protecting him. Wow. They can't protect him. They can't protect him no more.
They were giving you all kind of a hard time. I remember there was that headline that you had escaped from jail, but you had,
that was a fake escape case. I beat all of those charges.
Right, I know you beat that, but
what they did was they set up the escape so that they could keep me in there, because they thought I wasn't going to be given bail at my first arraignment in criminal court, and I was given bail. So then what they did was pretended that I was bailed out, but they was letting me out of the building. Captain of Corrections. I go home, I go in my house. I went, freshened up, had a drink, Lennox Lounge, smoked the bone, came back, cops is parked in front of my house. So obviously I'm not fleeing from the police if I'm going in my house. And that, even that original arrest complaint, they had to get rid of that because it didn't make no sense. So I had to have this officer that arrested me for it come and testify that his original arrest complaint said I went in the front of my house, right in front of him, and that it didn't appear that I had been trying to escape no police custody. But anyway, they then had to refuse to give me the video of the court building for 4 years. Have you ever heard of some shit like that? Wow. I mean, it's when they want to play with your life, they'll do anything. And this is why racism, to me, racists are suffering from a mental psychosis. And unfortunately, since racism is in key positions of the world, at the present moment, is why it hasn't been labeled a psychosis, but it is. Because if somebody pursues you to destroy you while exposing themselves to destroying their own lives, they have got to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so
ignorance that's taught.
You see the desperation. Pardon me?
They're taught to hate from an early age, and it's a really crazy thing when you see how they are. You know, they're given these irrational, ignorant ideas, and you know, bred to be that way.
Right.
And yes, it can destroy them. You're 100% correct.
To me, that it's like
not healthy for them or anybody else in the world. You know,
they're blindly pursuing you, and they're they're not thinking of how they're destroying their own life, or how they're exposing themselves to jail time, a terrible reputation, and then once it all starts crumbling down, it's like it's crazy, man. And so I learned a lot.
Look at these idiots who killed Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. You know, you chased him down.
They just filed an appeal
for jogging?
The hate crime.
Right.
They just filed an appeal, and you know what the grounds of their appeal was? It's really fucking funny. It's that the the wording of the hate crime statutes states that when they doing these hate motivated actions in public, and they claim that their street is a private street, so it wasn't in public. That's the basis of it. Like, come on, get the break.
They're so dumb. They're so stupid. They
but it also shows you when people. You ever notice how when criminals get caught, they'll say anything? Like they'll literally say something that's so bizarre to try to explain away the fact that you have literally caught them.
Right.
And it shows that desperation and that delusional mental psychosis that they're suffering from. It's a known fact that all criminals have some form of psychosis. You're out here, what the hell are you doing crime for? I mean, there's something wrong with people and that commit crimes. Some people are like
the antisocial crazy ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are also the ones that are social. Some of them are, it's all kind of people that commit crimes. Some people are like kleptomaniacs. They have to steal something, or they have to,
like Black
they
Rob,
could be rich.
rest in peace.
They could be rich, huh?
Like Black Rob, supposedly, I think he had that issue.
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah,
I've heard that. Because a klepto, they could have a whole bunch of money in the bank, have everything, they be scot steal. It's crazy, man. So I think the final frontier is when somebody starts saying this white supremacy shit is a mental psychosis. There's something, this is not, this is, and because you hear them, like, you'll see like a black person commit a crime, and you'll see a comment on one of the YouTube videos about racist. See, happy Black History Month to you, or you see all it. It's like everybody black is bad. I mean, come on.
Like everybody doesn't commit crime.
Or like everybody white is good or some shit.
Right.
I mean, come on. It's like saying everybody. Then the flip side is like for a racist black person to say, no, a prejudiced black person to say, all white people bad. That's absurd too. That don't even make no fucking sense.
And the whole black on black crime. D.L. Hughley said something about black on black crime. He said, people are around each other. White people commit crime against white people, Irish on Irish, Italian on Italian, Russian on Russian, Chinese on
Never hear about
Japanese
Russian on Russian crime, or it's just black on black, as if black people. And then I'm a criminal justice student,
right?
So we learn about the causes of crime, and they teach us the number one causes of crime is poverty,
right?
If you denying people systemically for years and hundreds, of course they're going to commit crimes in their neighborhood, because of they don't have any opportunities.
Right.
These communities, of course, are it's different motivational factors. So, that's why we're in the midst of a social and criminal justice reform age. And it commenced with Trayvon Martin. We're seeing things we never thought we'd see before. And, I think that it's a good time in history because a lot of people never thought we would see a prosecutor getting prosecuted, like in the Ahmaud Arbery case, for not filing charges.
Right.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Right.
Covering for people, covering for the police.
Cops are actually going to jail and being found guilty finally.
Finally, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then they're finally talking about federal legislation for different things. And this is what yesterday, I think, was the anniversary of the death of Breonna Taylor, or was her birthday, one or the other.
Right, right.
And her mother went to the Department of Justice to get a meeting with them to talk about them bringing charges. Because you got to remember, you can always bring federal charges, even if a person beat a criminal case on the state level, and that's not considered double jeopardy. They just simply decline not to prosecute on the state level.
Right.
But this is why, like Ahmaud Arbery and them, they can face the same charges in the federal case for hate crime. And a lot of people don't know, if you can't get justice on the state level, go to the federal, or at least try it. You might get lucky. They might really do the damn thing where the prosecutors on the state level is too close to what happened and the people that's involved. And so they're trying to protect them or whatever.
Right. How's it going with the getting a criminal justice degree?
Yep. And then I'm gonna do like a year law school, and then I'll be eligible to take the bar.
Woo.
So yeah, man, I graduate in 4 weeks, but the commencement ceremony is going to be in May. So I graduate in the middle of April, and the commencement ceremony will be in the middle of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that what I went through was a calling for me, because so many people. New York is most of the time, every year, at least in the top 3 states with the most wrongful convictions. Most of the time, it's in the top 2.
Right.
So it's a well-known fact. It's no secret that New York is dirty, especially Manhattan.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done about the prosecutors with the absolute immunity. Yeah, man, I was on Rikers Island for 4 years being abused by correctional officers like crazy, bro. And I was able to try to keep my spirits up,
No,
but sometimes I'd be really,
You're physically trying to beat you up, or not giving
both.
you right
They
food,
was assaulting me. They was assaulting me. They would get inmates to jump me and all kind of shit, man, on Rikers Island, bro.
Wow.
Like I said, it was a lot of abuse. Fortunately, I had a few good correction officers going to war with the bad ones to try to protect me.
Wow.
That's how it is. Yeah, it's going. So we're gonna bring all of that. We're gonna bring all that to the forefront. But the first thing right now, the most important order of business, is getting this officer off the force.
Understood. What's the officer's name again?
His name is Officer Pabon. His badge number is currently 5040. And I'll send you a link to put in the bottom of the description. Right. Also, you can go to my Instagram page. There's a link in my bio. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. And so, yeah, like I said, I think it was a calling for me. Like I said, we're in the social and criminal justice reform era.
Right.
Most hip hop artists now, the big ones, have something to do with criminal justice reform in some way.
Right.
Jay-Z has 2 nonprofits. Meek Mill, after he came on, we set up one. 50 Cent's biggest show, For Life, before the BMFs came out.
Right.
It was about, For Life was actually bigger than Pabon in terms of the numbers, the viewing numbers. And it's because it's a compelling topic. We're seeing things we never thought we would see.
Right.
I think it's,
I think George Floyd's death was a resurgence.
George Floyd's death. George Floyd's death is what compelled all of the cities to implement what's called defunding the police policy.
Right.
To take away money from the police and redirect it back into the communities. As I said earlier, they took away a lot of the programs for the youth. They took away job programs for people. And so these things, of course, affect the crime rate. This is a fact. Yeah. They know that. We learned that in criminal justice. So New York, they took the biggest cut. New York Police Department took $1 billion hit and took $1 billion out of the police budget for 2021.
Right.
Was the first year.
I know a lot of officers from the martial arts community, most of them Black and Latino. A lot of them took that personal. And, I was trying to explain to them, I know you have a good heart, but there's a lot of dirty cops out here doing a lot of wrong. And there's not enough. There's, you guys can get all kinds of military equipment that you don't use this stuff. You hear about police donating equipment to Ukraine, what's going on with the Russians. So you're having all this equipment that you really don't need, all this money's coming in, and then you have the good cops oftentimes not saying anything about the bad cops and what they're doing, you know, in fear of losing their job. You have cops who want to say something, but when they do, they've gotten fired or harassed and pushed out the force. And, it's just very corrupt. I remember that brother in LA who went on a rampage after getting fired. He was killing cops. And
Oh man, he was something else. He was an ex-military guy.
Right.
Yeah, he was dangerous. He's extremely dangerous.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad that they started this policy of defunding the police, because what are you going to do? Just keep increasing their budget while they're patrolling our cities like they're occupying a foreign war territory?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? During Mayor David Dinkins' tenure, when he was the first Black mayor, he implemented a policy where for officers to live in the areas where they patrolled.
Right. I like that policy a lot.
You wouldn't be moving around like you occupying, and no respect for the people there. Regular working class people are scared of the police.
Right.
The so-called minority community. They don't trust the police. They see what's going on. It's just, it is what it is. And then, like I said, when you see cops almost killing Black kids or killing Black kids and staying on the force, like, that's why Derek Chauvin could have his knee on the man in broad daylight, like with his hands folded, like while people going, you're killing them, while he going on camera. I mean, this shit is absurd.
Right.
And I put up a post today and said, if you could see that in broad daylight, you know what's going on behind the scenes in a lot of these different.
Right.
It's crazy.
Thankfully, we have camera phones now.
Yeah.
My friends who are older than me, and some of them your age and older, they were around in the 70s and the 80s, and they said, you think it was bad now? You should have seen how cops were acting back then.
Oh, imagine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine when it was no cameras.
I heard about cops
no cameras and no social media
all the time.
Oh man, yeah.
Like cops are feared, in the Bronx and Brooklyn. I heard a lot of crazy stories.
Yeah. My good brother, I want to thank you for having me. I really got to take care of something.
It's okay. Thank you. I know.
I promised this dude I'll get him something tonight. If he watching this, he gonna be like, so I gotta be mindful of the time, because we could talk forever. You my man. I love you and all that.
Love you too.
But if I don't get these people, they shit.
All right. Let me say thank you for coming through. And
listen, you can have me again, man. I'm here for you. However you need me, and it's all good, baby.